Hey everybody, it's John Brown, the one and only Bandana Gamer, coming to you today during the quarantine of COVID-19. A little while back, a good friend of mine from the Move Over Kids podcast, Ratboy Collectibles, reached out to me and presented the idea of a bunch of us meeting up in New York City. And we reached out to 8BitGlitch79, we reached out to T-Belly, New York's own. And we were going to meet up there and maybe go to Nintendo of New York, hit some of the video game stores there and put together a couple videos and just hang out with each other because we are all people that talk to each other online and we all like each other online, so we were hoping we would like each other in person. And I think we will. But we got pretty far along in these trip plans. We bought some tickets and then COVID-19 happened and those plans got hopefully postponed. And while this is going on, we talked a little bit more about maybe since we couldn't be together, maybe we could put together a couple compilation videos, and this is one of them. And I had the idea for this one because of the times we're in. This is like blowing my mind. None of us have experienced anything like what we're going through, and we don't know what's going on. And it is blowing my mind. And I then wanted to focus on things that blow my mind, but in a positive way. And so I asked these guys, like, we've all been gaming since we were kids in some form or the other. What is something that you have in your collection or you play with in video games now that if you took it back in time and showed a young gamer version of yourself, it would totally blow their mind? Something that we have now that blows your mind is just so amazing to you that we now have this. So we're going to start off with 8BitGlitch79's response. So here we go.
What's going on, guys? 8BitGlitch79 here, and I want to thank Bandana Gamer for inviting me on this episode. I appreciate it. So I'm supposed to pick something that if I was to go back in time to meet little 8-Bit Glitch back in the day, what would I tell him that would totally blow his mind back then about the gaming world that we live in today? Well, I didn't pick any specific game or console or anything like that. What I picked is a little bit different. Now, the word emulation sometimes is a nasty word in the community and in the group of retro gaming. And I'm not here to dispute that. That's a topic for another video. But what would probably blow my mind back when I was a kid was the fact that emulation exists. And more importantly, the fact that if I told myself that you could fit the entire NES library, Super NES library, Master System, Genesis, TurboGrafx, all the Atari systems, every single arcade game, practically from the 80s and 90s and 70s, and more would all fit on something the size of my fingernail, would just blow my mind. To fathom that all that information would fit on this tiny little thing, and I'd be able to play thousands upon thousands of games and titles. I mean, I built this main cabinet to do that, to play most of the arcade titles, but I can play Nintendo games on this. I got Raspberry Pis actually all out through this house. It's amazing. And just things like the mini consoles that can be hacked and stuff. That would just blow my mind when I was a kid. So that's my pick of what I would tell a little 8-Bit Glitch back in the day that would totally blow his mind. Back to you, Bandana.
Thanks, 8-Bit. I appreciate that video. So, other person, the founder of this trip, and if you're not, you should be checking out his YouTube channel, Ratboy Collectibles. There'll be links to both of these guys' channels in the comment section below. But here's Ratboy's response.
Hello everyone, Devin here with Ratboy Collectibles. I was asked by my friend John Brown here, the Bandana Gamer, to answer his challenge question. That being, what item that we have now gaming-wise that if we had as kids would just blow our minds? In my opinion, that would be the 3DS. I have mine here, the Samus edition. Just wanted to show that off. The reason why I think this would just blow my mind from going as a small child playing this and like playing Pokemon at like the wee hours of the night, barely being able to see it because it didn't have a backlight, to this beautiful thing of being able to see these things in 3D. I know a lot of people didn't use that, but I still liked it. But I don't know, I just think that's just an amazing jump in technology. It's got some amazing games on it that I think if I would have seen this when I was a little kid, I don't know if I would have even understood it. So yeah, this was definitely my pick, the 3DS. Such a jump in technology, and of course it's got to be Nintendo for me. But anyway, peace. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Ratboy. Now on to what would have blown my mind as a younger gamer. When I started really getting into gaming was during the Super Nintendo. I loved almost everything that I could get my teeth on Nintendo-wise. I loved all the Super Mario games, loved The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, and I loved Donkey Kong Country. That just made the system great. And then on top of that, you had such amazing third-party support from companies like Square, Konami, Capcom, and so many others. When the next generation came around, that third-party support went to Sony because Sony offered them a better deal. Yeah, Konami, Capcom, and a lot of them did put games out on the Nintendo 64, but it was very clear that that wasn't their focus. And for me, a lot of what I loved actually went to Sony. I loved the Final Fantasy series. I loved the Mega Man series, the Castlevania series. And yeah, you had Mega Man 64, you had the 3D Castlevania games, but it still felt like the real successors of the games I loved from the Super Nintendo were actually on PlayStation. And none was more evident than this. Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII just is what won my loyalty to the PlayStation 1 in that generation. Watching videos, commercials, that's how we would watch videos back then. We'd catch commercials for this, saw it in game stores, and read a lot about it on VGM. And of course, the big thing that was enticing was compact disc and how much information you could put on the compact disc. And this game even had 3 compact discs. So it had to be such a big game. And I remember reading VGM articles about how big this game was in terms of file size and like the videos. And one of the big things was like the intro video. I remember reading this in Electronics Gaming Monthly. The introduction video would have taken up 5 Nintendo 64 cartridges. And that just was, oh man, this is the killer game. This is the killer app for the PlayStation 1. Flash forward to the year 2020. And what would blow my mind if I could take this back and show it to that younger me is Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII on a physical cartridge for a Nintendo system. Now, I am very well aware that these cartridges are vastly different from Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 cartridges. And there's not as many moving pieces, and you have, flash memory and all that kind of stuff. But just to think, the game that took 3 compact discs, the game where the intro would have taken up 5 Nintendo 64 cartridges, fits on this little thing alongside the next game in the series that was 4 CDs. That just would have blown my mind to see this. This is a physical game from, it actually was released in Asia only. We've only got digital versions of the early Final Fantasy games on the Switch, but Play Asia sells these and they're all in English. But just to see this, even now, like, I'm just like, I can't believe I'm holding this. That Final Fantasy VII is actually released on a cartridge that goes in a Nintendo system. It just blows my mind. And so that does it for this collaboration video. I once again want to thank 8BitGlitch79. I really want to thank Ratboy Collectibles. Make sure you check out their channels. I hope to see both of you guys and some others in New York someday. Well, my friends, let me know what blows your mind in this future era of video games that we're now in the comment section below. if you like what you saw, make sure to hit that like button and give me a subscribe. And make sure to give 8BitGlitch79 and Ratboy Collectibles a subscribe if you haven't subscribed to those amazing channels as well. Well, my friends, I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.